Hi guys, today we're starting a new series, North Node in Sagittarius. I found the craziest shirt in my closet, so that would represent Sagittarian energy. So let's go. Before we dive into each house to see what we're working with here, let's talk about your South Node in Gemini. So you guys with the South Node in Gemini, you guys are my writers, you guys are my speakers, you guys are my communicators, my salespeople, my intellectuals, my why not philosophers? People who have mastered the art of communication in all its forms, written, oral, whatever communication there is. You get the idea. You guys are great at that. You guys, nobody can out-talk a Gemini South Node unless you have Gemini planets. So Gemini energy is great. Gemini energy loves variety. It's very curious. So you inside of you, there's this innate curiosity about everything. There's you want to know about everything, and you pride yourself on knowing a little bit about everything or a lot about everything. What else? You guys, there was a lot of lifetimes where there was a lot of thinking involved, a lot of decision. A lot of gathering information. You guys are my scribes. You guys are the people, in Game of Thrones, the guy that was every kingdom had a guy that kept track of everything, of all the history and everything. That's you guys, people that dealt with information, disseminating information, collecting information, passing it down in all kinds of forms. So you're great at that. Great salespeople, great, great storytellers, great jokesters. You guys are those, great humor, great sense of humor. Nobody can pull the wool over your eyes because you guys have done that yourself in many lifetimes. So now, if we talk about the bad part, because since the Gemini is in the South Node, that means you guys kind of went to the extreme with these ideas of communication. So what do I mean by that? Gemini South Nodes, you guys are my con artists, you guys are my tricksters, you guys are my imposters, you guys are my used car salesmen, you guys are the ones that, propaganda, fake news, the yellow press, all those ideas where information was misused, it was disseminated in ways that was not honest. You guys are, let's just say it. You guys are very good at telling lies. You guys are very good at twisting the truth. You guys are, like I said, very good at, talking people into buying stuff they don't need. You're very good at manipulating people with information or withholding information. But basically, at the end of the day, and the crazy part is that you, part of you is afraid in a sense of getting tricked. Because you've done it yourself, you're very wary of people around you. And you're always kind of worried about somebody pulling the wool over your eyes. So you kind of don't really trust people that much because you're so scared that somebody's going to lie to you or somebody's going to, con you into something. So you're very cautious about that. But the beauty is that if you are attracting people like that in your life, they're here to show you parts of yourself because there is a con man inside of you. So once you accept that, then you won't attract people like that. What else? Gemini South Nodes, fun people that did a lot of thinking, did a lot of weighing, did a lot of logical. Your mind is very logical. Your mind is, Gemini can be light-hearted, but if it's in the South Node, it can also be a lot of thinking, a lot of mental, constantly the mind is racing. You can never relax. You're always thinking about this and thinking about that and thinking the worst and maybe expecting the worst. Your mind plays tricks on you because your mind is very powerful, always telling you stories. So now with North Node in Sagittarius, the beauty of it is that you need to get away from so much thinking and get into doing. Because Sagittarius doesn't think. Sagittarius just experiences. Sagittarius is the liver of life. Sagittarius doesn't hesitate. He just goes. If he needs to jump, he jumps. And then later he realizes maybe he shouldn't have done that. And that's the beauty of Sagittarian, is that he doesn't hesitate, you know. And you guys, with so many lifetimes of thinking, of always weighing options, of always collecting data, of always thinking, if I just had a little bit more information, I could make the right decision. And that always stopped you. It stopped you from living your life because you're always in your head. You guys are a lot of times in your head. There's a lot of tension in your head. And a lot of times I would say, because you're so active, because that mind's always spinning, sometimes you guys may resort to, you know, things like alcohol, drugs to kind of relax, to calm you down. Nothing wrong with that. You know, all the things that I mentioned, they're tools. They're tools to kind of help you out, because sometimes your mind is just drives you crazy. So with Sagittarius North Nodes, you guys are here to experience. You guys are here to shut your mind and just do what it is that you want to do, because your heart wants to experience. Your heart is done collecting information. Your heart is done thinking about it, pondering, analyzing. You guys love to analyze because you're so afraid to make a mistake. So with Sagittarius, you're just here to do it. You're here to experience it. You're here to find your own truth, because Gemini South Nodes, you guys have twisted the truth. You guys lied. You guys lied to a lot of people, you know, mass people in the form of propaganda or one-to-one relationships. You guys were my imposters that kind of told people what they wanted to hear. You know, the players, you know, romantically, you guys were like that. You know what to say to the other person to get them to do what you want them to do. You're brilliant at that, and you can literally, because you can talk so much about everything, you can literally drive the other person crazy, and they'll just say, okay, fuck it, I'll buy it, whatever, just stop. So so yeah, God forbid the wrong person ends up in your hands. You know, you will you do whatever you want with them, because you're good at manipulating people with your words. So yeah, so with Sagittarian, it's going to be important to find your truth. Sagittarius is not a liar. Sagittarius is very honest, sometimes too honest, but that's going to be the most important thing for you in this lifetime, is to find that truth, your inner truth, not so much from here, but from here, and follow it and act on it and speak it, you know, but speak it honestly, even sarcastically, even if it's going to upset people, you know, because you're always used to kind of smoothing things over to benefit you or to benefit the situation. And so now you're here to not be that way. You're here to kind of say, this is what I think, and this is the truth, and I don't care if I lose all of you guys. I don't care if you guys, nobody likes me, but I don't care, because I'm alive like this. You're here to be alive, because Sagittarian is a perfect example of just being alive, being in the moment, and acting on your instincts, and acting on that drive, that fire that you have within you. All right, so now let's go through the houses and see exactly kind of ideas that we are that you'll be working with in this lifetime. Okay? Okay. North Node in Sagittarius in the 5th house. All right, guys, before we dive into that, let's talk about your South Node in Gemini in the 11th. What does that mean? It's kind of similar to Gemini in the 10th, because you were out there and you were, okay, first let's talk about the good stuff. You're very good with being, you know, part of groups. You love groups. You have a lot of friends, but it's all, you know, you can be friends with this guy you just met and you're best friends, and you're like, hey, I love you, you're awesome. It's very easy for you to make friends. It's very easy for you to come into any group, organization, whatever you are, and right away you're like, hey, I got you. You know, you're very good at interacting with people, a lot of people. And more than likely, with time, you become like a spokesperson for them, you know, because you're everybody's friend and you're everybody's buddy. Everybody's like, yeah, let you, you know, they kind of push you to speak for them. So that's great. You know, you can have that, you can make acquaintances very fast. You know, like at the party, you're like, hey, my name is this and this. You have no problem. You're everybody's friend. You're a global citizen. You know everybody. Everybody knows you. But because it's Gemini in the South Node, that means that it wasn't always genuine. So yes, you have a lot of friends, you have a lot of followers, you have a lot of, you know, everybody knows you, but how authentic is all that? You know, what is that based on? Because I guarantee you it's based on superficiality. It's based on, it's not based on like real ideas of like, you know, this is my friend. You know, if something happens, I can call you, or if I need to cry, I'm not embarrassed to cry in front of you. But what I'm thinking about 11th house Gemini is like people at parties just going, hello, darling. Oh, you look beautiful. You know, things like that. Empty compliments, empty words, just constant everybody just roughing each other up and just blowing smoke up each other's ass and just saying, oh, you're so beautiful, you know, a lot of superficial exchanges. You're good at that, you know, it's in you, and you, that's how you know yourself, you know, you kind of think that if you stop doing that, you're not going to have any friends, you're not going to have any fun, and nobody's going to want you. You always want to be around others. You always, you're kind of afraid to be on your own. You're afraid to be alone. You always, you know, associate yourself with groups that you probably don't even care for, but you always try to find that little group that where you guys can just be friends and interact on that superficial level. So what else could that mean? Another idea of Gemini in the 11th could be a spokesperson for a lot of organizations. And as a spokesperson, a lot of times they're not always honest about what they're presenting. You know, first thing that came to mind was like pharmaceutical companies. You know, they're not always, they know how to smooth things over, some kind of crisis about a new drug that ended up being fatal. You know, they will always find ways to smooth over to make the organization look good. So you guys have that experience to like be that PR person, amazing PR persons that can fix any situations, can twist the words to make it look good, where everybody looks good and everything's fine. You know how to, what do they call that? I forgot what they call that. But you know how to fix any situation. If you have to put a press release out, how to smooth things over. But like I said, a lot of times the interests that you represent, they're not always honest. They're not always based on truth. You know, another thing that comes to mind is lobbyists. Lobbyists is a great example here. You're very good at coming in, slithering your way in, getting yourself comfortable with the person, making the person trust you, and then basically putting your agenda on them. So lobbyists are amazing at that. You know, they come in and they convince whoever's listening that that's what needs to be done. And of course, there's money that's exchanged. Ideas like that. You know, you don't always believe your truth, but you promote it because you get paid for it. And it had to do with like groups, organizations, you know, ambassadors would be a good one for that. You know, people that always smooth things over. Let's say you are a representative of the tobacco company or the gun, you know, there's a great movie called Thank You for Smoking. Very good movie. Very good representation of like your South Node, where you are, you know, there's these guys representing you know, the tobacco company, the pharmaceuticals, and then the NRA. So they talk about, and they know how to smooth things over, how to twist the facts. You're very good at like twisting the facts, but basically, you know, it's a lie. You know, but you're so good at like hiding the truth to where a regular person can be like, yeah, well, yeah, that's legitimate. You know, yeah, I'll vote for that. You know, so you're good at manipulating information to make a group look really good, even though it's not truthful. So, and you did it without guilt, without anything. And that's okay. There's no judgment, you know. That's the lifetimes you had. That's the experience that you have. That's what you're good at. So a lot of talking about nothing, a lot of superficiality, a lot of misinformation. Now, with Sagittarius in the 5th, what you're being encouraged is to kind of let go of that idea of superficiality. Let go of the idea of belonging to a group. Let go of that idea that there's power in the masses and kind of become selfish about your own world. Sagittarius in the 5th is an amazing placement because you are literally here. You're asked to have fun and to have authentic, crazy, risky fun. Without judgment, without worrying about what people are going to think, without worrying that you're going to lose all your friends, without worrying that you're going to lose your job or whatever organizations you belong to, you know, because you're so used to putting these masks on and sacrificing your own idea of fun, creativity, who you are for the benefit of the group, lying to yourself about what you believe in and saying, well, you know, but like I said, if you keep doing that, you'll get to the point where you can't look at yourself in the mirror. You'll be like, I fucking hate myself. I'm sitting here, I'm representing this group, and I don't believe anything that they say. I hate them. It's lies. It's all lies. And a lot of times, Gemini South nodes in the 11th could be also whistleblowers. That's another one about you. You know, if you go the opposite end where you're like, I'm done with that, you could be whistleblowers, you know, where you actually expose the truth about an organization. So anyway, you had a lot of lifetimes tied to organizations, groups of people, tribes, people, humanity, everything. So now you're here to get away from all of that and to say, you're here to explore your own world of fun. As much as you can, as edgy as you can, as crazy as you can, as risky as you can. Everything that your mind may say, well, this is too risky, this is going to jeopardize my reputation, fuck it, you gotta go do it. And you will feel alive. You're here to feel alive, because before the stuff that you were doing, you were dead inside. Yeah, you look good on paper, and yeah, you were all whatever, but inside you were dead because there was nothing authentic about you. You sold your soul to whoever paid you to speak on their behalf. So now you're being encouraged to be authentic, to be honest, to have fun, to be creative. You know, there's so many crazy ideas in your mind on what to do with this life, of games, of you know, interaction with children. Fifth house is children, fifth house is sports, you know, competitiveness. You know, you're here to just kind of forget about the world and focus on you and be selfish in that way. And because you're going to do all that, you're going to become so much fun that people will want to be around you. But this time around, it's going to be fun. It's going to be authentic. It's not going to be lies. It's not going to be superficial hugs and kisses. It's going to be real fun. And you will attract other crazies like you that are going to say, you know, I always, when I think about fifth house Sagittarius, I think about the guys from Jackass. A bunch of crazy lunatics got together and made this movie and had all these crazy situations where they were like, you know, or like another good one could be, I don't remember it. Gosh, my memory is horrible. Impractical Jokers. Impractical Jokers. Perfect example of fifth house Sagittarius. Guys that are constantly pulling pranks on each other, pranks on everybody around them, making everybody laugh, but they're real. You know what I'm saying? They're real. Yeah, even though there's a little camera there filming them, but at least they're real. They're having fun. And they don't mind making a fool of themselves. Because let's say before you're always worried about saving face and looking perfect and, you know, making sure everybody likes you and stuff, and manipulating people to make sure they like you, knowing what to tell them, knowing what mask to wear. Forget about the mask. Take the mask off and go have fun. Fifth house Sagittarius, crazy, fun, without boundaries, without, you know, all about sarcasm, humor, things like that, guys. It's an awesome placement if you can get away from your south node, from that idea of, you know, I gotta belong somewhere. No, you don't. You can be on your own and you can have a blast. And you will attract other crazies like you, and you guys could have so much fun, and you will be so alive inside of you without masks, without nothing. Okay? All right. Have